Well, we're live and welcome into SideQuest Comics Super Sunday Show Off Show. This is the last one of the year, guys. I'm still decorated festively because it's still a holiday season. And I hope you guys had a good holiday, good Christmas, got everything that you wanted from Santa. Let's take care of some business, give some people some time to jump in. I see we got a couple people already, but please consider smashing that button. Give me a like, subscribe, comment. And you know what? You guys are going to see some, not Christmas cover. Well, maybe you will. I got some. Let us know in the comment section what you guys think of all our comics we're going to be showing off. And also feel free to check me out on Instagram, SideQuest Comics, and drop me a line at SideQuestMail@gmail.com. And I also have links in the show notes, you guys, for all our guests tonight. So if you're not following any of them, please consider doing that. These are some great guests I got tonight. So without further ado, let's bring on some of our guests. I am going to start with one of my good friends. I was actually just talking about this, how it's funny how you meet friends and then you find out you're close together. But the first one I am going to invite on here is Chetty, Cheddar Comics. Chris, what's up?
Hey.
So yeah, welcome in.
Post-Christmas lump size.
It's like we're getting to that time where we got to start hitting the gym, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're starting to see that mail already come through.
I'm going to go to the gym. I'm just going to eat more.
And then next up, we have Hayden from Next Gen, who's on. Look at that. He's showing off a cool ornament that he got from one of my other guests that's coming up. What's up? What's up?
Nothing much. Happy to be here. Definitely need to hit the gym too.
And then last up, we got Hagen from Lettuce Comics. Welcome in. Welcome in. Did you guys get everything you wanted for Christmas?
And more.
And more?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good Christmas for me, for sure.
Very good, very good. Welcome in, you guys. Let's, before we get into finding out about you guys, let's go to our comments because I know we have a bunch of people who are yelling at us. Let's go. We got one of our favorites, Big Nasty is here. He was here before we went on, I think. He's saying almost time. Chetty was saying Big Nasty. He's a good friend of a lot of ours. And then we have Dope Comics in the house. What's up? What's up? I'm glad you can make it. These are all like content creators. Go check them out, guys. Who else we got here? And that's it so far. So everybody's saying hi to everybody in the chat. But so we're just getting out of Christmas. Everybody kind of got what they wanted. I left my Christmas stuff up. I figured we're still in the holiday season. I wasn't ready to take it down just yet because, well, mainly as I don't want to put the stuff away. That's the hard part, putting stuff away, right? It's always fun to decorate and put it out, but yeah, I didn't want to put it away just yet. But let's see, what I wanted to go over is tonight it's a weird show tonight. I gave you guys some loose rules of stuff to bring, but before we get into that, let's kind of get to know you guys. Cheddar, let's start with Cheddar. I always say, what is an origin story for you guys real quick? And I know what your favorite characters are, but interwebs don't. So Chris, origin story, favorite character. I think if anybody knows you, they know who your favorite character is, considering it's on your shirt.
I know. Well, when we have the same, I was like, where's my Magneto? My favorite's Magneto. I can show a Christmas present.
There you go.
That's cool.
Magneto's the best, Look at that. I haven't opened it yet. I'm like debating, but come on. Look at that.
That's the fight with any collector, right? Do I open it and play with it?
Should I get it in the box or do I open it? So my origin story, my dad owned my love of comics and mostly the characters start pretty much at birth. My dad owned 2 comic book stores when I was a kid in Portland, Oregon. And I didn't really read a lot of comics as a kid, but I knew, Batman and Spider. I came to love the characters through toys and whatever Batman '89 merch was flowing through the store. And his store's closed with the '90s bubble burst. But him and I ended up collecting when I was a teenager, like a vintage collection with keys and stuff. So that's kind of where my real love of like vintage comics and the actual comics themselves came in, was when I was a teen. And then a couple years ago, I had a different business before COVID, and COVID closed my previous business. I had a drone photography and video business, and my wife suggested, "Hey, why don't you do the comic book thing full time?" So I started Cheddar Comics about 3 years ago, and somehow I pay my rent with selling comics. So
Yeah.
living the dream.
Yeah,
That's
it's
awesome,
always
dude.
a big deal when you can have fun doing what you're doing for a living and
Super lucky.
still pay bills and stuff. Dope has a comment about your boxed Magneto. He said, "Let it breathe."
Well, if he said it, all right. Cracking it open tonight.
Okay, yeah. So I mentioned that it's funny how we met on a live stream very similar to this, and then it turns out you're like what, 2 hours north, maybe a little bit more than 2 hours, right over the border from me, and small world sometimes. And then also like we were talking, Lettuce and me were talking about how there's a lot of people you meet in the comic community that you wouldn't normally meet if it wasn't for this crazy thing that we do.
Totally.
So yeah. Speaking of Lettuce, give us an origin story. How'd you get into comics? And I think I know what your favorite character is too.
Oh, do you think?
I think.
Well, at age 6, I was born without a face, and shortly after that, my dad would take me into comic book stores and give me like $5-10 and tell me that I could go do whatever I want, just to sort of get me out of his hair. He actually learned English from reading Sergeant Rock comic books that he would buy on the Navy base.
Okay.
Wow.
And so he sort of kept that going with me. And so rather than going to go buy like, this was like the mid to late 2000s. So rather than going to go buy like a new issue that was $3-4, I would go buy $5 to $10 books, and that's just what I did. And the character that I gravitated towards was Captain America. Much to everyone's surprise that's ever watched a single video of mine or seen a single live stream that I've done. Yeah, there he is. But yeah, I wish I could tell you that I had a deep like pathos related love for that character at first. He was a dude who had a shield, and I thought it was cool. That's evolved since then, but I'll be honest, it was pretty much like that shallow at first. But like kind of how you pick a favorite sports team when you're a kid because you like the color red, and then you ruin several months of your life by liking that team. Like that's sort of how I ended up. But yeah, that's a little bit about my origin story, so to say.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's very iconic, right? He's the big star, blue, red, white. I'm like, easy to get stuck on a character as old as him. He's been around in media for ages and ages, and yeah, you kind of can't help it. But nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong. It's sometimes we are drawn to the weirdest characters that we don't understand why.
And sometimes it's that lack of understanding that makes the love all the sweeter.
Yep. So I saw Big Nasty was commenting on my shirt, so I gotta tell him I got issues. No, it is not a Hall shirt, but it's a shirt my wife got me for Christmas. It's got all these old Golden Age comics on it, which is kind of cool. I think this is a catchphrase that most of us could easily say when it comes to this hobby. So. But yeah, we also had, I popped it up earlier, Christopher's joining us. Hey, Christopher. And then let's see. I got to put this one up. Christopher said, "What's up, fine looking gentleman?" Flatters us. He flatters. I'll take it. I will take it. All right. So next gen, I need an origin story. Now, you are one of my fellow members of the Council of X, as well as Cheddar. But there's a lot of people that don't know your origin story and favorite character. We need to know about your favorite character.
Yes, so I have a very illustrious, deep origin story in collecting comic books, and the fact that in 2021, I graduated college and I decided, hey, I'm going to start collecting something. And then, like everybody around that time, I collected Funko Pops. And then I got rid of all of those. I'm like, this is not the place to be. So then I bought a Secret Wars 8. I don't know why I bought a Secret Wars 8, but I did. And then I liked it so much that I bought another one that was the same grade, but it was signed. And then it kind of turned into what it is now. And then since then, I started a YouTube channel, but my love of the characters goes way prior to that. My earliest memories of being a child is sitting on the floor in my parents' house watching Spider-Man 1 with Tobey Maguire on repeat nonstop. Wearing a Spider-Man suit underneath my clothes 7 days a week. It got to the point where I was Spider-Man, I think, for Christmas maybe 3 to 4 years in a row. And I would wear the suit underneath my clothes to school secretly. So,
Awesome.
So if that gives any indication who my favorite character is, just from that. And like Letta said, it has evolved since then. I have also learned that I think a reason I relate to Spider-Man so much is he's the only person that I think is more unlucky than I am, because he is just always down on his luck. And I started to realize, I'm like, dang, a lot of like crazy stuff happens to me, but it's never that bad. So, but that's just a kind of a little bit about the olden days, as they would call them.
Now, I got to know, when you were a kid, did you get they had those toys where you had a glove and it had the finger activated thing with the canister?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I unloaded those things within a day. It was like unreal.
I ruined my family couch with that thing because I was like pretending to. Yeah, absolutely.
Man.
Yeah,
man,
I remember I would shoot out my dad's cigarettes out of his hand with it.
That's awesome. Take that, cancer. All right. So I usually do have an alternative motive for figuring out what your guys' favorite characters are. Now, we are going to be playing a game where we talk about some of these iconic characters. But before we get into that, I kind of wanted to just do a little bit of a roundup of 2024. This is the last show of the year for the Sunday show off. And do you guys think it was a good year? I mean, did you get all your goals? Did you get big books that you were kind of had on wish list? Let's do a summary of 2024. And I think at the end of the show, after we talk, we'll talk a little bit more about the future. So I know I had some goal lists. I didn't follow it very close. I did get some stuff on it, but other stuff I was just kind of like, meh. And I think in general, it was a weird year. This was my first full year as SideQuest Comics. So a lot changed very fast in a very short amount of time. 12 months goes very fast. So what do you guys think of the past year?
I can definitely relate. I definitely made a list, and now that I look back, man, that I did not stick to it whatsoever.
Well, I don't feel so bad now.
I will admit I did get some books on that list that weren't on there that I just came into such a great deal. I mean, I had to pick it up. I mean, Exhibit A is this Amazing Spider-Man 129 First Punisher. I got early on in the year. I never thought I would get that book any time recently. It's just Killer. One deal came up. It was like $300 under fair market value. I just one of those things. I had to buy it. I sold a ton of other big books that I had to get it. So
that's always good when you can kind of re-roll other stuff into something that you want more. I think eventually that's something like with the new year I want to do, because there's a lot of bigger books that it's like, yeah, I could save up for them and get them eventually, but it's also one of those things that it's like, yeah, I could probably clean house too a little bit, move some stuff to people that would probably love it just as much as I did when I first got it. So Cheddar, I know you had a good year, 2024.
It was a good year. It was a
Yeah.
good year. I tried to do what I don't do every year, and I actually made a list and I stuck to the list. Which is that's a new thing for me. Don't make it seem like I'm always that disciplined, because this was a first year sticking to my discipline. So
Okay.
I completed my list, and then I completed my list by like the end of the summer, so I had to start dipping into my 2025 list.
Ooh, you didn't slow down and relax at all.
No, I was like, I can't not buy anything for 4 months. A deal came up. Well, I guess I'll go. Yeah, take
Twist
that
my
off.
arm, right?
Yeah. So yeah, if you're gonna make me buy a Fumtu, I'll buy it. You know, I guess.
Hagen,
so.
how did you fare this year? Because I know this was kind of a starting year for you too.
Yeah, so I started this channel in late March, early April. I've had a great year as far as like comic book stuff goes. I'm a list maker, and my big goal was to finish Cap Volume 1, and I took like 100 issues off of it this year. I'm down to like 60 that I need left.
Wow.
So, I mean that I didn't complete it, but it's going well. And my big goal is it's related to a book that I'll show later for sure, but
Okay.
that got checked off, and I'm super happy about that. But like the bigger thing is that I started this channel because I wanted to do stuff like this. I wanted to meet and talk with people, and not just pester my wife all the time.
Yeah, that's me too.
explain what I bought to like her and my friends, and then like try and explain the reason why I'm excited about it, rather than just saying like I bought X book and everybody being like, oh my god, you got X book. Like the cutting out the middleman of that has been really great, and I've met a lot of really awesome people, and so like that was the big goal. And I mean I couldn't have been more successful with that, I don't think.
Okay. And you feel like you got some pretty cool books that you set out to get too. I know you got some coming up. Did you get sidetracked too much?
Well, it depends on what you mean by sidetracked, because I love stupidity, and I love things that are pointless. So like a lot of other people would say that like, yes, I got sidetracked by, buying the ferret for $1, but I don't think so. I think it's a ton of fun, and I think it's really stupid. And it's worth $1 to me. So like, yeah, I did stray a little bit from the path, but it's a hobby. It's supposed to be fun. What's the point of
exactly?
What's the point of being that regimented with it?
Yep. All right, so I almost forgot. I had some news for everybody out in interwebs. So this past week, there we go. This past week, speaking of our significant others, my wife actually came on the channel and we did a live Christmas cover duel, and I had people vote. Now, in the live stream, I took a tally. We ended up in a dead tie during the stream. Wow. Now, I was giving people till this live stream to vote in the comments section. And guess what? It's still a tie. Now, I hate to throw somebody under the bus here, but I have somebody on this panel that didn't finish their voting. Cheddar never finished his voting.
I vote for Mary.
Well, you know what?
Smart man.
Pretty much how I figured it was going to go. It was going to go towards the right.
I'm picking Mary.
So, here, I got to get my bell because I told her I would do this. Mary wins the Christmas cover duel that we had earlier in the week.
Give it up, Mrs. Sidequest.
And I actually told her, I said, you know what? You have more of a gift for BS than I do, so I think that's why you won. But yeah, I mean, I love doing those kind of episodes where, part of our hobby, and I'm starting to move into this, I think, towards the end of the year, is finding different ways to collect, not just 1 through 50. of a run, right? It's I want to collect all the anniversary covers, or I want to collect all the. I think the most recent is Tangent. I've been getting all the Tangent DC covers. They're all one shots. Another one is like Animamorph. I can't even say the word. Animal comics, like turtles and stuff. So I've been tracking down all those weird, hamster vice and stuff like that. So it's one of those things in a hobby that it's personal, right? It's very individual. Collect how you want to collect. Like Hagen said, if it's not fun for you, why are you doing it? It's supposed to be about fun. Silly's okay. You can spend $1 on a silly comic as long as it brings you some kind of joy. So, but with that, I thought, like I mentioned, I was kind of grilling you guys for favorites characters because we're going to play a game, and I got to find my button called
Icons.
You like that? I talk her into doing something for the show all the time. So it gives her so much joy to hear her voice echoed and all that stuff. But icons. So this is a little game I came up with where I throw a bunch of iconic characters in a bucket, and we draw out some of them when we talk about them. Now, Magneto is in here, Chris. Captain America, I already did. And I think he actually lost.
That sounds right.
He lost to Catwoman. So,
you wound me, sir.
Yeah, no, it was rough. That was a pretty good debate there. And I think Spider-Man is still in here too. But Hagen, I'm throwing this guy in here. I do try to refill, so we're gonna throw in the Falcon. I know you're a fan of Falcon, so he's gonna go into the mix here. He's a new one. It's getting to a point I can't remember who all these are, but let me grab my bucket. Chris will like this. This is the bucket. So old bucket head, we throw all these in here, and I'm going to draw out 2 of them, and we're going to talk about them one by one. We're going to talk about maybe their origin, what we think of the characters, their power levels, stuff like that. And then I got something fun lined up to see who the ultimate icon character will be for the episode. So I'm going to do a quick mix up. Okay, I think I got one.
Come on, Squirrel Girl. Come on, Squirrel Girl.
No way she's going to be in here.
Jeff the Land Shark.
Yeah, Jeff the Shark.
Jeff's having a moment.
Okay.
Hydra Bob. I'm so upset that Jeff the Land Shark's having a moment. Like I wanted to get his first appearance. I'm not paying $40 for it.
Yeah,
you're out of your mind.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, with the trend of crypto, the Alex Ross cover just went skyrocket.
Same.
I actually was digging through a random box I had from my wife's brother's collection that I inherited. There's a bunch of crypto in there. I was like, yes, I got it for free.
Yeah, I just overpaid like a crazy person for.
Yeah, I know you just got
one of those. Great. It was like on Whatnot, and I didn't think shipping. I was just swiping. I'm like, I gotta get it.
Ooh, Whatnot can be dangerous. So
Whatnot will get you every time.
Yeah.
All right. So
don't Whatnot drive, people. That's what gets me.
First iconic character is. Boy, too bad. John isn't here with Comics with Kids because it's his favorite character. We got Storm first up. So Storm, do you guys know what her first appearance is? I know Cheddar does. Hagen, I don't know if do you know? I'm
pretty sure I do.
It's pretty common knowledge, right?
Right.
So anybody.
It's GSX1, right?
Giant size.
1975, Giant Size X-Men's first appearance. The goddess, right? The goddess. What do we think about Storm? I mean, first off, let's talk about her character a little bit. She was I think she was a character that was like, wow, a strong Black woman character in comics in the mid 70s. That's a big deal. And, her character has never changed where she was always a strong female character. Yeah, she has faults, little ones, not the major, but it makes her more relatable, right?
Yeah, she X-Men were where like progressivism lived in Marvel Comics, and to have a character like that, and for her to be as potent and competent as she was, like I'm not an X-Men fan really by any stretch of the imagination, but she led the team for a while, and she was who like they looked to for answers, even at a point where she had no powers, and like that's really important. Some of my favorite issues of comics are where, you know, Tony Stark loses his suit, or Hulk can't transform, or, you know, Spidey doesn't have his powers, and it's the people that they are, the reason why they're heroes, that shines through. And I think that she's a really good example of that. I'm a big fan of her. I like her a lot.
Okay.
100% agree. I mean, you got to think just where she is now as a character. She's grown even outside of the X-Men. She's, you know, gone on and had that relationship with Black Panther. I think now she's with the Avengers. And now she's completely separated from the X-Men. I haven't watched it yet, but in the new What If show, she's in there. So, I mean, she's really just kind of whatever goals they originally had for her. I feel like she shattered the glass ceiling in terms of that. And I mean, her power set is awesome too. Omega level mutant. So, I mean, what more can you say about Storm? Just awesome character.
Yeah. I mean, power level wise, yeah, she's just phenomenal. I mean, I like in current run of Avengers, she basically replaced Thor, because Thor is like, the team only needs one God of Thunder. Yeah. I'm like, man, talk about handing it down. Holy cow. You have an actual literal, you know, Norse god saying, yeah, you can run the show. All right. So I think we're all in agreement. She is one badass lady. I mean, I like the fact that, like, I think it was recently with Krakoa, she had dinner with Doom, and Doom can be an intimidating character. She wasn't having any of it.
I love it when Doom gets put in his place. It's so fun to see.
And I think he's one of those types that I think his worst enemy usually is a woman that he actually can respect, and on that same level as him when it comes to his ego that's so big. Yeah, I like that too. All right, so our second iconic character for tonight is, we got Dope will like this one. It is the Hulk Smash. So first appearance of the Hulk. Now this one might be a little more of a test for us.
Hulk
1. Incredible Hulk, #1, 1962. So way back. And Hulk series is weird, right? Because it only went a couple issues, and then it switched and did like where they're splitting with was it Giant Man, and then eventually Submariner, and then they came back and they got their own series again. Hulk is one of those characters that I have kind of I collect them for a while and then I leave because it starts to get samey or something. And I come back again to see what's going on. Oh, okay, that's what's going on. And then I leave again. So I am currently reading and collecting Hulk, the new series, because they went back to more of a basic monster storyline with him, where he's battling other monsters in the Marvel universe, which is very interesting. The artwork kind of reminds me of some of the old school pulp artwork, so it's some of it can be grotesque, which is entertaining to me. So Hulk, what do you guys think about the Hulk? I mean, this is a different one because you got almost two characters, right? You got Bruce Banner, you know, he's a brilliant scientist, and then you got Hulk, who's just, most times he's just a brute, right? He just wants to smash stuff. That's how he solves things. Smash it.
He's the strongest there is. I mean, my least favorite thing that they do with the Hulk is because like the worst thing they did with the Hulk, I think, like the MCU, for example, is not making him a smashing around rage monster. I mean, that's like why people like him. So
yeah.
I feel like those are his best moments, because then when he's like that a lot, when he does have those like sincere moments, it really hits home a little bit more. Like one recently that I've been seeing that comes up a lot. is when, Spider-Man makes everybody forget who he is, and then randomly he's with the Hulk, and Hulk calls him Peter, and he's like, "What?" He's like, "Banner forgot. Hulk never forgets."
Okay, yeah.
So
yeah.
there's a lot of moments like that with the Hulk that are kind of sprinkled throughout his history that I think are really neat. That shows that he might be a rage monster, but he is still, there's human aspects to him as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're kind of doing that in the new series where they're keeping them very distinct personalities.
Mm-hmm.
The Spidey moment with Hulk that I remember, I don't remember which issue it's from, but Hulk is on a rampage and he's just berserking and nothing's getting through to him, and Spidey cracks a joke. I think it's a knock joke, and gets the Hulk to laugh and then transform back into Bruce Banner. And Banner's like, a knock joke. I can't believe it. I like the Hulk. I think he's not to talk bad about him. It's a simple character, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I dislike about some of the stories that he's in is that they try and make things a lot deeper than it needs to be, and where you can kind of tell that you're ascribing characteristics to this character and you're forcing it to work, and it doesn't necessarily do that. I totally agree where you have these small moments that show humanity, and you have these small moments that show conflict, or you have story arcs that show conflict. But when you try and make that the whole thing,
exactly,
it loses some of the simplicity of the character, and that's what kind of makes it fun,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's Radiation Jekyll and Hyde. Yeah, Big Nasty took
Big Nasty got it.
Took it. It's a monster story, and I think that's what Lettuce is right about it. I think that sometimes they overcomplicate something that's very simple, and sometimes it works. I mean, I really love Immortal Hulk, that storyline or that series, but I can't really think of, I'm always kind of surprised how long Hulk's series run for.
Yeah, and that's one of it's like you think about, okay, Hulk Smash, how much can they do of Hulk Smash? But it works, right, on so many different levels. I mean, I think the fact that he does have that mass appeal to whether you're a little kid to a big kid, you kind of get something from it, depending on what era you do. Like Steve pointed out, the Gray Hulk, a lot of people like the Gray Hulk, and that is their favorite Hulk. They kind of like Joe Fixit, some people like just the mindless, Beast Smash, Hulk Smash, Hulk has no friends, type of thing. I don't know where I stand on the Hulk, really, to tell you the truth. I kind of do get tired of the whole Jekyll and Hyde thing. Banner kind of annoys me after a while because he's just like, oh, I don't want to be the Hulk. You know what? You've been the Hulk for how long? Just roll with it at this point, because
you've been the Hulk for 60 years, dude. Yeah. Just it is what it is.
I always think, because see, I grew up with the old TV show, with Lou Ferrigno, and that show sometimes could be a downer because it started so depressing and it ended depressing, with that music. It was all kind of sad. He's walking into a town by himself, gets into trouble. Oh, I gotta leave town again all by myself. So, that's kind of, I get tired of the Bruce Banner in that sense. I just want Hulk to do what Hulk does. He defeats the bad guys, he smashes them. I guess I'm very basic in that sense.
One storyline that just popped in my head, I mean, it's a very iconic one, is Planet Hulk. The animated, I don't know if you guys have seen the animated movie of Planet Hulk. They changed some things for his arena battles with Beta Ray Bill, I think, in the animated one instead of the Silver Surfer. But yeah, I feel that's one where it's of course, a completely different take on the Hulk, right? I mean, he becomes civilized, he has a family,
it's weird. It's kind of weird.
Completely just helps a revolution on a foreign planet. I mean, completely different Hulk story, but one of those ones that also really works. But that's just one that kind of pops in my head as well. So if anyone's out there that doesn't like Bruce Banner or likes Hulk, there's one for you.
Okay, yeah, and I think that's where I kind of like the Hulk, is when they merge the two personalities a little bit more, so there's not such a conflict, and separation type of thing. I like the Hulk just as one being, I think it is, and not that constant conflict with Banner and Hulk. So unfortunately, that's what they're doing right now. And so far it works with the new series. It's almost like having two people that are the same person and they're teaming up, trying to work for the same goals, but it can create conflict. So I think that's where the story gets interesting. All right, so we covered the Hulk, we covered Storm. Now, something that I do with icons is let's see if I can get to work. So they're going to fight. So this is kind of a common thing with any comic character, right? You put the heroes together, they disagree, they fight. Who's going to win? Who's going to come up on top? So between Storm and Hulk, now we could debate a little bit. Who do we think is going to win this one? I don't know.
Whenever it comes to these things, I feel like you got to talk about which versions of each character.
Yeah, we do kind of a little bit.
Yeah, because if we're talking like World Breaker Hulk
exactly
versus Life
goes.
and Death Storm, like it's going a particular way, you know?
Yeah, and it's I think it's kind of hard to pick, I think, an era because both characters have been so different in different time periods of their respective comics. I think what we could do is just basic level of the characters, what they're broadly known as, right? So, I mean, the Hulk is he indestructible, right? He's considered indestructible, unkillable, blah, 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 blah. But he also is kind of the big brute, right? Whereas we have the natural born leader, Storm, very powerful being in her own right. She's not super strong to go toe to toe with the Hulk, but she's, I think, got it up there where she can plan. And I mean, look what she did without her powers. So if she still has powers, and she could put a lightning bolt up his butt and do some damage. What do you guys think? I mean, let's lay it out here.
I think Hulk crushes her skull.
Ooh, he's going.
I was gonna say, just like, I would think I have to go with the Hulk because I'm personally one of those people that I think the Hulk should be stronger than Thor. I think it's always crazy when they think Thor is so much more powerful than the Hulk. I just personally want to, my headcanon is it can't be like that. So I got to go with the Hulk.
See, that thing is, though, he's got to catch her. I mean, she could be crafty enough to stay away from him. She's smart enough to know that she can't go toe to toe with him like Thor would.
The right answer to this, the right answer that we all know is whoever the writer wants to win in that particular moment. So acknowledging that, I would have a hard time putting my money on anyone but the Hulk. So I like Storm as a character a lot more, but I think Storm would know that I need to call in some backup. Because I mean, anytime that they've done Justice League versus Avengers, Hulk's fighting Superman.
Yeah.
I mean,
Storm is not fighting Superman.
How could she even do it? What would she do? Let's give it if you even play in that sandbox, what would she do to, lightning, tornado, drown him in a flood?
I think, I get Big Nasty kind of brings up a thought for me. He says Beauty and the Beast, right? Would she kind of, appeal to his, those senses of, she's a woman, she's a pretty woman, Beauty and the Beast. Okay. Would she tame the beast?
All right.
That's a really good way to get Gamma curb stomped, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, Hulk. Hey, smash, smash, smash. Dead.
And I've seen that in the comics though, where Hulk has been sweet on certain ladies. I mean, you look at the movies. If people don't know the comics, look at the movies.
Hey, big guy, sun's getting real low.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, he fell victim to the redhead. Most guys, redheads are their Achilles heel. So.
I think I'm gonna stay with the Hulk if I'm being perfectly honest with you.
Okay, so let's do a vote. We got one for Hulk, Chris, Hulk. Oh man, we're going Hulk all around. Well, you know what? Realistically, I think, yeah, if you go to power level, it's going to be Hulk. I think it's going to be, it's one of those matter of time, right? Before he gets his hands on her. And like you said, Chris, crush his skull. Hulk crush. So I think it's fair to say that the Hulk is going to win this round of icons. Let's see what everybody else says. Oh, here we go. So Brian LCS says, keep Hulk away from MJ. Yeah, MJ is like kryptonite.
Well, hold on a second. I'm just now realizing something that you said earlier. Does that mean that you and your panel agreed that Catwoman can take Cap in a fight? Is that what you're telling me?
I think that's what we did.
It's been real nice hanging out with you guys. I had a great time. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Man, okay. That just hurt my feelings all over again. Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry.
But yeah, so I think it's a lot of these characters though for icons. It's a situational thing, right? It depends on the environment. It depends on what era we're talking of the characters, because like that came up tonight with Hulk. Depends on which Hulk, right? I think it's one of those. If you talk about, say, Joe Fixit, or we have Smart Hulk, maybe one of these versions of the Hulk Storm would get to. I don't think he would be down and out for long, but it may be a battle, not a war, but a battle that's won. So, but yeah, okay. So we're going with Hulk all the way around for this one, guys. I'll have to see what the chat says, but that's it for this.
Icon.
Let's see. What does the pan? I didn't really look, but we'll see. Stevie is saying Avengers versus Defenders, Thor versus Hulk was a monumental battle that lasted for hours. A test of wills, a test of strength. So that's kind of like a classic battle there. And then, okay.
Big Nasty saying Hulk too.
Okay, yeah. So I think Hulk all the way around in this one. I would have to go back and look Hagen at the whole Captain America thing, but
I'll do that. Don't you worry about that.
What it came down is that Captain America is a gentleman and doesn't fight dirty. I think that's what it came down to.
Now's not the time, Hagen.
All right. Anyway, so let's get to showing some books. So I asked you guys to bring some books. Usually what we do is we'll show off like Wednesday Warrior stuff. What your top 4, books you were excited to get were for the past month, and then what your top one was. Now, we also will do like pickups, stuff that you found in the back issue bins and wall books, stuff like that. Now, being this the last episode, I thought it would be fun to do top finds for the whole year. Now, after I said that, I realized, oh my God, I got so many books this last year. How do I just pick 5? Well, I did it. So I figured I'm sure there's stuff that I forgot about. There's stuff that I just didn't think of. And after the show, I'm going to be like, oh, I should have picked that book. But does anybody want to start showing books off first? Anybody? I'll go first. So I'll run through my new books. I usually do the Wednesday Warrior stuff. Let's see. Let's do that. Oh, look at it. Worked for me the first time. And I want to shut off this so we don't cover up Cheddar's head. So I am going to start with my new books. And if Dope is in here, he's going to like this first one right off the bat. So I'm going to go starting from this past week and go backwards. So one of my favorite books this week to pick up was, holy cow, I am this one. Come on, there we go.
Oh, yeah.
Hell Hunters. So Hell Hunters is, you got Wolverine. We got, what's that, Nick Fury right there. We got a Ghost Rider 44. We got a Bucky Barnes there. I don't know who else is in here, but I know a lot of people are excited for this one. Just the fact that we get Ghost Rider 44 is kind of cool. And of course, I can't just get the A cover. So I had to get that one. Very cool cover. And of course, this was my favorite. Kind of a throwback to the Ghost Rider we know. So this was my big pick for this past week. And I mean, I did get other ones that I'll show you real quick. I like this cover. It's a second printing of Absolute Batman.
I almost picked that one up.
And this one, I'll admit, was totally a cover buy because I've had this happen at work. Pomeranians are the one you have to watch out for as a mailman. So, yeah, pure cover buy. But then going to previous week. So this is the 18th of December. This was my big book for that week was Helverine. Once again, kind of a Ghost Rider theme, right? This is Dakin, who was resurrected by one of the Spirit of Vengeance. And of course, another week where I cannot resist all those variant covers. And then this was kind of the runner up for that week is Christmas cover. I mean, it was December, so if I see a Christmas cover, I'm going to get it. Speaking of, second week of the month, this was my pick. I thought this was hilarious, seeing this Christmas box. You open it up, and it's got a severed head in it, and the stories in this are generally pretty good. I like that the artwork is fairly different in all the different stories. This was just a one shot, so you didn't have to worry about the stories continuing. So they just kind of threw it all out there. And then the very first week of December, I got this one. I have to throw in some of my X-Men in here. This one is number 8 of Adjectiveless X-Men, the new one. And this was the part 1 of Raid on Grey Malkin. They turn the mansion into a prison in the storyline right now. But the reason I got this is because it's Rogue kicking Cyclops' ass. I mean, literally knocking his visor off. So I'm like, yeah, you go, girl. I was all over this one. And then what I like to do, so the one that I'm most excited for, this was my number 1 pick for the whole month, and it's because it made me laugh out loud in the store, is Batman Smells Robin Laid an Egg. That old song that everybody used to sing as a child. I had to get this. It made me laugh so hard. The only thing I think that it's missing, I mean, you can see Batman sniffing there, is if this was like a scratch and sniff of like that old skunk smell they used to have, that would have been awesome. So, yeah, this was my number 1 pick for the whole month of December for new buys. So that was my little spiel there. So who wants to go next? Who's got a pile to show off?
I've got a pile, but I'm gonna break all of your rules. So if you're okay with that,
I'm okay with that.
So the only book that I got to show off that I actually got in this month was a part of a Christmas present from my wife, and it is this issue of Green Lantern. This is Green Lantern number 7, I think. And this came in a mystery box that she got me for Christmas, and it's probably my favorite out of them because of Chip, the squirrel Green Lantern. So yeah, I mean, I haven't. I only have a couple series on my pull list. Certainly nothing like what some other people 25 books a week get. But this was something that I got for Christmas that I wanted to show off, and it's not in my wheelhouse, but I love it like a lot, especially because my wife got it for me. Now, some of the stuff that I got this year, and I'll go through these pretty quickly because I do have a fairly sizable stack. The first thing that I'm like excited that I got this year was this. Is ASM 529. Yeah, and I love the Iron Spider armor. It's my favorite. It's my favorite costume that Peter Parker has. And this panel here, I used to trace as a kid because I just thought that armor was so cool. And I actually have I think I have 2 copies of that because I sort of did it on accident. But yeah, so first appearance of the Iron Spider armor. There's also Star Trek Deep Space Nine, The Dog of War, number 5, cover B. I don't need to say anything about this. You know why I got it. This is awesome.
That one, since the first time I saw you show that book, is on my list. I think
it's great. It's great.
So cute.
You can get it. You can get it for like $4 on my comic shop. So just next time you're on there scooting through, go ahead and throw that in your cart. The next thing is this. This is a Charlton Comics. This is Grand Prix. This is issue number 16. And I love like auto racing, and this has a couple different stories in it, but one of them is of these two cars. This one is the Honda F1 car, and this is the Eagle T1G, the only Formula One car ever to be raced, built, and the only Formula One car to win a race that was raced and built by an American. His name was Dan Gurney. So that's really cool. I got this early in the year, not jumping on a bandwagon or anything. This is It's Jeff number 1, which to my surprise in high grade is like a $30 or $40 book now, which I think is crazy.
Wow.
I got this for $4, but
wow.
That
eventually
came out just this year, and it's a $40 book.
I think it came out last year.
Last year, wow.
I think it came out last year, and I picked it up late because I suck at picking up new books. I always have to get them like out of the back issue bins. And then also a book that I don't think any of you guys would have seen this month or maybe ever is Joey and the Magic T-shirt number 1, volume 1. It's just really stupid. It tells a story about a kid who falls into a diabetic coma, and he meets a lot of zany characters and learns about the dangers of diabetes. And he gets protected by this magic sweater T-shirt that he has. I found this in a dollar bin for $1, and I'm a stupid idiot, and I love stuff that stupid idiots would love, and so this was right up my alley. Next up is this. This is Combat number, I think it's number like 36 or 37. I got this for $7 at a flea market, and I love this. It's a 12 center. It's got this gorgeous painted cover.
Yeah,
I'm a sucker for anything with planes, tanks, boats, ships. I'm a kid. We're all kids. We're all children. So yeah, that's really exciting. And I actually got that on a sort of a hunting trip with Jacob from Bone Claws Comics. And my favorite thing that I've read this year, and I bought this at a used bookstore in Knoxville, Tennessee. This is the 5th printing of Saga of the Swamp Thing Volume 1 by Alan Moore. I hadn't read this until this year, and I saw this for cheap. It's got, I don't know if people care about like condition on trades, but this one has a huge crease on the back, and that's why it was so cheap. I don't care at all. I don't care at all. I just wanted it for the story that's inside, and it is my favorite thing that I've read this year, and it's been on my bedside table because every now and then I'll flip to a random issue and go back and read it. 2 more things. And the first thing is 2 things. These are things that have been sent to me. This is a little art card of the creature from the Black Lagoon. And these are wheat pennies that were sent to me by Digger Jim. This one's from 1956, and the other one's from 1944. These were ones that he actually found. And I have these to just sort of represent all the cool stuff that people have sent to me this year. This giant size Captain America number 1 was sent to me as well. Not asked for, nothing, just like out of the kindness of people's hearts that have sent me stuff. And that's been, awesome. And so I'm really, really thankful for that. But the big thing that I got this year was I went to Heroes Con in June and had been saving up for months and found this at the right price. And it is this.
Oh, now we're talking.
Yeah. This is Avengers number 4. Love it. In loved condition. And it's going to stay loved.
It looks great.
I don't care that it's got creases and like dents and dings
Oh,
and
It's got a
all that
story,
stuff on
right?
it.
It's got a history.
Yeah. One of my favorite things about this book, and I was talking about this earlier today, is this corner here is black and it's all kinds of messed up. It's got creases, it's got color rub. But to me, that's what happens when you have a book in your lap and you're reading it. So in my head, some kid, loved this book and threw it in a shoebox. And that's where this book was. And so I don't know. Some people don't like ugly books. Some people don't like books with defects. I love that thing. I'm never ever going to upgrade it. It's in a UV protective case. I have a special slot for it up here, and it's going to be like a permanent fixture on this wall. So, as far as comic book stuff that I've gotten this year, I've done pretty well for myself, I gotta say.
That's
Cool.
kick-ass, dude. I love that book so much.
It's something that I never thought I'd be able to own, and so I'm just so happy that I can. And if you don't mind, I'm going to put it back up on the wall.
Put it up. I want to keep looking at it. I want to live through you. I don't have one.
All right.
And there you go.
Who's up next? Chris, you want to go?
I'll do whatever you want, boss.
Show me some books.
Okay. So this is the 2024 part, right? I don't have anything from...
Yeah, and I realize that not everybody is a Wednesday warrior, gets new books and stuff.
Yeah, I don't buy new stuff.
And I figure it's the end of the year. Let's show off some fun big books that we got this year, right?
So, for me, like my PC, like for years, I just felt like very unfocused. Maybe that's because I used to be a drug addict and now I'm clean. So I'm a little bit more mentally disciplined than I used to be. So this year I was like, I'm going to be disciplined and I'm going to go after big stuff. So I had a list of 6 that I was on my list. So, I felt accomplished for the first time to not have, because I would always go for a cheaper one or, and I wanted to I'm getting older. I'm pushing 40. I'm like, there's some books that I just want to have. So, I definitely didn't think that this would happen. I mean, I'm here at the end of the year. I thought maybe I would get 1 or 2. I don't have all of them, but I have some of my favorites. My newest one that I got, I wasn't planning on getting this year was my, I got to start off cliched with my X-Men one, our favorite Magneto cover. I had hunted this one for a year because I wanted it, signed by just Jim Lee and Claremont, and it's got the custom label.
I love that label.
Me too, cool. Dude. It's like, you gotta have it. So this is my favorite book of all time. I get a lot of I'm trying to keep it PC. I get a lot of crap for loving X-Men 1 because whenever I post about it, there's always a troll telling me that what I love is stupid, and that just feeds me. So keep the troll comments coming. I love it. I don't care that there's 2 million of this book, because it's from my childhood, and there's nothing more meaningful than a book that means something to you. Something's not always about the monetary value, the capitalist pigs who want us to only collect the most valuable thing. Forget that. Collect what you love. And I love this book, and I get it everywhere I go. So this one's one of my favorites from the year. Not to get into my capitalism rant.
By the way, don't forget to shop at Cheddar Comics on Instagram.
And make sure you come over here and spend some money with me, right? We are crushed under the society of capitalism, but what can you do? You cannot escape it, right? One of my other favorites, so, I buy collections. Sometimes I get to skim a few books out of the collections for myself. So
that's the motivation, right?
This one fell out of the collection right into my box, because it was on my list and I didn't think I'd get it. And I collect, my main part of my PC is the X-Men, but a big part is Batman. And me and the wife like going after the Rogues Gallery. So one of my Rogues Gallery buys this year was a Batman Adventures 12. This book was free because that collection's well paid off. So I got to keep this one, which was cool.
That's sweet.
Yeah, I love it. And, you know, Harley, I mean, you can't go wrong, you know. And it's one where I don't know if you guys have this, where it's like, I love Harley just because she's a part of the Rogues Gallery. I don't really love the price of the book. So I never really wanted to pay,
Mm-hmm.
you know, whatever, 4, 5, 600. So getting it in a collection and, you know, having Cheddar Comics get all his money back because they're two different people. You know, I'm Chris right now. Cheddar got all his money back. You know, Chris got to keep this book, right?
And for you people that do like that book and are buyers of new stuff, I think they're doing a reprint, facsimile of that
Oh, I'm
this
sure.
week or next week or something like that. I think there's one coming out.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure it's probably going to be foil and which I'm not crap. I if it's foil, then I might get trapped into going to the store.
Shiny.
You know, this one was I'm like I do a lot of local auctions. So and you can do them online. You don't have to like go there and like bid anymore. You know, like the old days. So this was one I bought for myself. I sold some stuff you know, for the PC, I don't always have the money, you know, to just drop whatever. So sometimes I'll sell some stuff I already have to fund this purchase. I don't know if you guys have ever had to do that, but not an endless supply of cash. So sometimes I'll just go sell some stuff I'm kind of tired of. And I got this really beat up FF48 for
Nice.
Silver Surfer. It's got tape on it. It's probably a 1.0 or something, but
Looks
I just
pretty good though. It presents good.
It
I
always
just
looks
don't.
good on the live stream.
Yeah, you can't see how beat up it is if I.
It made Hayden lean forward. So you know what more can you want?
Look how much nicer it's looking.
I like to use that term, the 2-foot rule. If it looks good
There
at
you
2
go.
feet,
Look at this. Look how nice that is. But yeah, I love Silver Surfer and I love Galactus. So it's a double. A book I never really thought I'd have, but came up real cheap. Nobody bid against me that night for some reason, so it is mine. This one was cool. This was actually I met SideQuest. We met in real life. He is real. I touched him, not like in a hug way.
not that kind of way.
Not in that kind of way. But at Fan Expo Chicago, I've had some books that like I haven't been able to sell. There was a collection I bought, and it had this stack of this anti-communist book called "Is This Tomorrow?" And I got a bunch of them graded. I kind of mined every sale I could find. I sold probably 5 or 6 of those books, and I still had a couple left. And I knew this guy at Fan Expo, and he traded me the year before for stuff for myself. So I was like, I'm gonna go back to that guy. He's gonna probably want this book. Hopefully, he's gonna want this book. And I traded him, and he had one of my books on my list, and I cracked. I don't have any early Spider-Man. I got nothing. My earliest Spider-Man, Hayden's got the good stuff there. I can see 50 and 129. I think my earliest one, Hayden, is like 194.
Oh,
I don't think I
nothing
had.
like this.
Yeah, see, there you go. Get that out of here.
You dick.
Get that out of here, dude. I didn't have anything below 194, so this was quite a big one for me. This is Spider-Man 13, first Mysterio,
Nice
and I love Mysterio.
Yeah.
That is one that was on my list this year, and I did not get it.
So it was great. He took the Is This Tomorrow? It was like a CGC 9 or something that I could not sell for 6 months, and just it was a straight trade for the Mysterio.
Wow.
So for me, I pretty much had, I think like maybe I had like $50 into that book. So to get this and a Sinister Six member and a Spider-Man at 13, you know, just crazy. And then the big one, you know, this book, man, I literally cried when I opened the box. I straight up broke into tears when I opened the box because I've wanted this book for 20 years, and and like me and my wife have always been, until this year, thanks to Cheddar Comics and thanks to people like Hayden and SideQuest supporting my live sells, was the most successful financial year I've ever had. So, to open that box and see this book, which I traded, I heard Lettuce talking about it. My comic shop is a great source. I traded, I was building trade credit for like 6 or 7 months with them, just sending them. You just send them $100 box and $150 box of crap, like crap, But they were giving me good money for it. So, and I built up the credit, and I was able to take off about 2/3 of this book, open it up, burst into tears, and I finally got my
Oh
Hulk
yeah.
181, my number one book forever. And for X-Men collectors, SideQuest, this is like the second biggest book that you can go after X-Men 1. So to get it and have a bunch of trade credit knocked off, and to have a Hulk 181, and it has the stamp, it has a little corner, I don't care. It could, as long as Wolverine looked good on the cover, and I was just super happy with it. And this one is following me into the grave. I will take it with me. So, or my kid will be cleaning it out of my house when I'm dead.
What is this? What is this stuff?
What is this? Yeah. Oh, that's your retirement. Oh, that's your summer cottage.
Awesome.
So those are my favorites of the year. It was a good year, luckily.
Okay. Hayden, it's all Spider-Man?
Actually not. So this was the year of reading for me. So I actually read a lot. So I have this. I literally have like 4 short boxes in front of me to pick it from. But I actually have this like my 5 most recent pickups, which this is kind of an honorable mention. But for Christmas, my family actually got me the first 2 volumes of Void Rivals and the Transformers series that I've heard lots of good things about. I've read
so good. Transformers is so good.
I'm very excited. The only thing I've read so far is this first volume of Void Rivals, and I really liked it. Robert Kirkman, all-time great writer, so I kind of knew this was going to hit. But I've heard nothing but good things about Transformers, so I'm very excited. But, all right, my little stack here. First up, this was through a trade that I got from Christopher Parker here in the chat. We've done a couple trades this year so far, and this was the most recent one. And this book is actually one of the early appearances of the black suit Spider-Man.
Yeah. Yep.
That is my favorite costume of Spider-Man. This growing up, whenever Tobey Maguire donned it for the first time, I'm like, this is edgy and I love it. This kind of like everything around that time, it was cool for characters to wear black clothing. So was really happy to get this one in a trade. Thank you, Chris. And another character that is in my favorites, one of my favorite series of all time, is Mark Grayson from the series Invincible. Season 3 is coming out in February. And there is actually a book that I figured out that is a team-up book, because Invincible is an Image product. They did a team-up with Marvel, and who would have thought that him and Spider-Man would be teaming up together? So this was a very high up on the list book for me. I would think that if I had to get rid of all my Invincible books, this would probably be within the top few that I would keep. Just for, what are the odds my favorite character of all time and Invincible are on the same comic book together? Awesome. And this is also one of those books that whenever the show came out and they did the multiverse episode in the show, this book shot up like insane. I got this for, I want to say, under $50, and I think if you go recent solds are like astronomical. Like these things can get up to like $150, $200 if they're graded. It's like, it's insane. So really happy to get this one this year. And then another series that I've read this year that I really loved was Ultimate Spider-Man. I only started reading it this past couple months, so I went back and like a madman went and picked up all the old issues. And I got this one right here, the first issue, late. I did not get to pay $5 for it, but I only paid $35, which for these things are still going for $60, $70. So the fact that I could still get it for that price, I'm very happy. because whenever I got back into comics in 2021, I started picking up the Zeb Wells run of Amazing Spider-Man, and I was like, dude, I like this character. It was so bad. So reading this was a real good refresher of knowing that there is good Spidey stories out there. And then the last pickup of the year, pending any crazy last-second purchases the past few days, was a book that it was actually in the Cheddar database that I was waiting for the right copy. And then in a live stream, Chris actually had it, but it was a special version of this book. And I'll put it up here.
Oh.
It is Wizard 1, but I realized that there's actually a couple different versions of Wizard 1, and this one has that San Diego Comic-Con stamp on it.
Nice.
That's
So
awesome.
I was able to get this one for a pretty good deal. Sent a guy a message, like, "Hey, are you just gonna take an offer over here on eBay?" And he said, "Sure." So I think I got this one for around like $85, maybe,
Nice.
plus the shipping. But super happy to get this one. I mean, also just like it's Spider-Man. That's hilarious. So I mean, just for like what it is. So super happy to get this one. And then I have just books everywhere. But another book that I've read this year that I've actually really liked that it's probably going to go up like that Ultimate Spider-Man #1, but Absolute Batman. This series, I feel like has a lot of potential. I was even crazy enough to go get a variant cover of it. And even this variant cover by Jim Lee is now going for $20-$30. So
Yeah.
yeah, I know, it's insane.
That
And I
series
was
is
so
on
crazy
fire.
to even get the black and white version.
I like the black and white. I did get that too.
Yeah, I went back, flipped through it, and it's definitely still holds up as a black and white book as well. But yeah, this back half of the year has been very Batman focused and Nightwing focused. So the last little bit I'll show here is, so this is Tom Taylor's run on Nightwing. It's like issue number 78, and I think it goes to issue 118 or 19. I'm almost done with it, but I just fell in love with this series. Like, kind of scary how much I fell in love with it. To where not only was I a psychopath that went and just bought, as many trade paperbacks of it as I could, read it. Now, at this point in time, I am 4 issues away from having the entire run in single issue format. I don't know why I decided to do that. I just liked it so much. The covers are just so fun. Like, for example, whenever he gets to the point where he's teaming up with the Teen Titans, you get a bunch of these covers here that are kind of meme related. So we have this one, which I think Nate from Hollywood Comics showed on one of his shows recently. But this is the Super Hot Fire. I don't know if you guys know what that meme was.
I've got that one.
Yeah, this one's really funny. That one, let's see if there's another one here. There's one where, I don't know if you guys remember the meme where the lady's screaming and then it hands over to a cat. So they have, and it's hilarious because these are the cover A's to these books.
Wow.
It's not like some random variant. So these are the cover A's to these books. But I have just gone crazy, and I have almost the entire run of this absolutely great series. So, and just to cap it off, I do have his first appearance here. But there's something about Nightwing. It's like, I mean, your dad is the world's greatest superhero, and he somehow can go from living in his shadow as Robin to being his own person in Nightwing. And then what he does throughout the story with, not to like give spoilers, but he comes into a lot of money, as you can imagine, being related to Bruce Wayne. And just kind of what he does with it as Dick Grayson. It's just really cool story. And a lot of great covers. Art's amazing. So
I think DC the last few years has really been kind of amping it up. I've always considered myself a Marvel guy, but I think the last 6 months, I think mainly with their leading up to the All-In stuff they're doing, has really been kind of swaying me in there. Because the storytelling is not the same old. So, and I think part of it too is I haven't read DC consistently in like over 20 years. So maybe that's part of it. I don't know. but I've always been interested in the characters. So, yeah, I like what DC's doing. And that's one, Nightwing is one that I'm like, I'm not a Batman guy, but I like the Teen Titans and I like, Robin and I like, Nightwing. So
Yeah.
I might have to check that one out. I was curious how many books you were going to show were going to be from Chetty.
I actually do have the most recent stack sitting over there. If we had bonus time, I was just going to pan through them real quick.
Yeah, you're an enabler. All right. Well, I have a stack that's my 2024. Like I said before, this was a little hard because I know I probably forgot some books here. And the first one I'm going to show is actually not a book I bought this year. It's kind of my honorable mention, but it is a book that I tore the Band-Aid off and got it signed. Now, Chris, you were kind of, I think, the catalyst to this because you're kind of like my support in this because it's one of those things that I own this book from when it came out. I was a kid. I know what it costs to replace it. So I was like, that's why I didn't want to get it signed. But I got my first appearance of Gambit signed by Andy Kubert at the Fan Con this summer. It was something that I had it a year ago, 2 years ago when Chris Claremont was there, and I couldn't do it. I'm like, I don't want to replace that book. I want it mint and new. And I finally just pulled that Band-Aid off, and I was like, you know what? My investment at this point was $1. What am I going to lose out getting it signed? Totally. I had to do it. I need to start doing this with more of my old books that I have, I think. Now, granted, I probably am not going to send this in to get, slabbed or anything. I did this for me personally because I think it's cool to have the creator sign it. It's kind of like my link to them, as a fan to have them sign this. I got a bunch signed by Claremont too. So why not have Kubert sign a book too? Silver Street's another one I'd like to get signed. So that was kind of a honorable mention of me ripping the Band-Aid off. But nice. So I'm going to go through some books that were some of my favorites. Like I said, I probably forgot some. Some of these are just because they're goofy books. They make me laugh, like this first one that I did not know this existed. And the dealer that I got this from, I see at shows all the time. So the next time I see him, I am digging for more of these books and I'm going to send them to everybody. But that is this one. It is the comic adaptation of Van Damme's Cyborg. Now, I didn't know this existed. This was a book that came out. Talking to the dealer, he said that he found through research, this was a comic they only released in video stores in the early 90s to promote Cannon's, released on VHS Cyborg movie. The movie is really bad. It's Van Damme. If you like just blatant action movies, well, then it's a great movie. But the fact that there's a comic book for this movie that I remember going to see in the theater as a kid, I was all over this. So when I see more, I'm buying them. I'm buying them all. I'm gonna just send them to everybody because I think everybody needs a Van Damme comic. So back to some actual. This was a book that was on my list. And it's a favorite character of mine from small child was Aquaman. Now I had to catch myself because I've gotten so used to calling him Aqua Bro, thanks to, the movies. But this was a big one on my list, was the first one. Now, this one has an asterisk. This is not the original cover. This is a reproduction cover on a coverless comic. And, the price was right. It's still in my collection. I can still read it. Maybe eventually I'll find one that has a beat up cover and I can marry them up, Frankenstein it. I don't know. But I don't care. I have an actual, the comic. I can flip through the pages. I can smell, the age and all that stuff. So I'm okay with that. And it didn't break the bank. So it's one of those, I think, examples that you can get these kind of grail comics out there and not have to worry about it being pristine and stuff. This comic was so loved it doesn't have the cover anymore, and I'm okay with that because it displays fine up behind me on the wall. This one was a little bit more recent. Going back to my childhood again. A lot of these are nostalgic.
Nice.
This is the first appearance of Space Ghost for Hanna-Barbera. This was a Gold Key comic. I grew up with Space Ghost. I loved all the Hanna-Barbera like superhero stuff they did. Herculoids and Birdman and him and Thundar the Barbarian was really a big favorite. It's probably why I like Conan so much. It's because of that. But yeah, this one linked back to my childhood. I love these superheroes that Hanna-Barbera did. Kind of, throw back to my childhood. And then speaking of Conan, this was a big one for me this year. Savage Tales #1. It's the first appearance of Man-Thing in it. Very cool black and white magazine. I've been getting into these big magazines. And that cover, check out that cover. That's John Buscema painting. He didn't do very many paintings, but this was one of them. He did a couple on Savage Sword, I think it was. So I was super stoked to find this at a county fair antique show. There was a dealer that had this. He gave me a killer deal on it. I couldn't pass it up because I know these can be hard to find. Usually when you find them, they're already slabbed. I just wanted it raw. I wanted to be able to flip through it and enjoy it like it was meant to be. And then finally, my last one, Chris, when you showed this one, I was like, oh yeah, we're right here, man. We're right here. But this was the big one for me on the Grail list for this year. This one, since 20 years, since I was a kid, since I have my original reprints of 180, 181 from the early 90s. And ever since then, I've been infatuated with my favorite character. So this was eventually gonna, get done. Now I kind of, this one is a weird, I was very hesitant on buying a slab one of this because earlier in the year, all that shenanigans happened with the slab books.
I agree.
And I was looking for a raw one. I couldn't find a raw one that was in the shape and price I wanted. This one, actually, the store I go to, the owner's dad, like 20 years ago, bought a bunch of books for investment. This is one of them. So this was like early CGC slab book. So it's like just the fact that it was like in the first year, second year of CGC, that's what this book is from. No shenanigans.
About it.
Yeah, I didn't have to worry about stuff. Now, I could crack it, get it pressed, clean, that stuff. But do I want to? I don't care. Yeah. I have the actual book. I'm happy with it. I was happy with the price. It
looks great
coming from. So and I got so many reprints of this book in general that if I
really read those ones,
I'll just read one of the other ones. Yeah. So this was probably my #1 pick on my list for this year. I didn't finish my whole list, but this was the big one for the list, and I was happy to get this one. So, and I know some people say, is that first appearance, second appearance, blah, blah, blah. You know what? You just get them all and then don't argue,
right? Get them
right?
all in your coverage.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about it.
So that was, those were all my, I think, favorite picks for the year. I'm sure I could go back to the wall here and grab any of these for one reason or another. And, be favorite picks, but those are ones that popped off of my head right away. So I wanted to show those ones off. And great books, everybody. I haven't looked in the chat for a while, so let's see. Big Nasty saying, oh yeah, Man-Thing. And then Stevie here. Space Ghost versus all those alien bugs. Yeah, this was one of the things I liked about that cartoon. He's always beating up alien bugs, so he didn't feel so bad for them. And then K-pop here saying she needs more Brack in her life. And I think the new series, Brack is coming. I've been getting the new series and I like it because it's not so kid friendly. So if you guys haven't checked that out, it's Dynamite that's doing the new series. I think they're on 8 or 9. So they've been doing quite a few already. They've been tapping into all that nostalgia titles.
Nice.
Well, all right. So I guess we're getting down to closing. Unless somebody has anything else they want to show off. I kind of showed off everything that I had. The only other thing I want to show off real quick is a Christmas gift that my wife got me. Not that thing blew me away when she got me that.
That's so cool.
This cool little book, Regrettable Superheroes. I've been reading this thing. This is so awesome. Most of these are like pre-code superheroes. Like there's one in here called The War Nurse. There's one guy in here is Kangaroo something. It was like a one-issue thing, and he's called Kangaroo blah blah blah. Not because of any abilities, but it's because his sidekick is a kangaroo. So yeah, this was a cool book. This may end up somewhere on the channel, like a feature. I'll feature one of these or something. So if you guys find this, look for this on Amazon. It's a very interesting, entertaining read. But yeah, that's I think all I got for this end of the year Sunday show off. I want to thank my guest for coming on. Thank everybody in the chat for coming on and chit-chatting. Let's see. Yeah, it is fun, K-pop. Look for it on Amazon. You will not be disappointed. But yeah, anybody else have anything else real quick they want to show off maybe before we get out of here? Hayden's showing off some good stuff there.
This was my last Silver Age Spidey pickup of the year. So I know I didn't show much Spidey in my picks there, so I had to show this off. Which, if you guys saw, he was actually in the Crazy movie.
We did not see that. No.
I've heard some people. Obviously, the general verdict is not good. But I've seen some people say they like it. I personally think that is the worst movie I've seen this year. Like
they must not have their senses on when they go see that movie. They must be with their eyes and ears shut if they're saying that's a great movie.
There are some superhero movies that are good because they deserve that leniency of being a comic book movie. There is only so far that can go, though. Yeah. Like there is only so much horrible stuff that you can tolerate before even the biggest, Craven fan, if such a thing exists, has to admit that this is just really bad.
Oh my god! It has some of the worst pacing I've seen ever in a movie. Like it is. I don't know if you guys have watched Squid Games.
Yeah.
So you know how it defaults to having the English voiceover. Yeah. That is exactly how half the Craven movie is. Oh. You can tell it's very obvious that they voiced over half the people. It is so bad. It's
Craven 2? Man.
It'll go in the bin with Madam Web.
Yeah, exactly. The dustbin of history.
There was one interview with the Sony, I think the Sony CEO that was like, I don't understand why it wasn't received well. It was a really decently made movie. And then everybody around him was like, you shouldn't be in charge of making movies if you think that thing is good.
This is why we're where we are.
Yep. So before we get out of here, I wanted to just touch on next year, 2025. Is there anything, goals or any series, movies, cons, anything in the comic world that we're looking forward to?
The Harley Quinn fart comic this coming year.
There you go. Scratch and sniff that cover.
Oh boy. That's a different kind of comic.
I'll go first since I'm in the upper right. I'm looking forward to going to Heroes Con this year. There are a bunch of people that I've heard that are going to Heroes Con. I'm going to get to meet up with Nate from Hall Yeah Comics and get to see my wife in person for the first time. So that'll be great. I really want to finish my Captain America Volume 1 run. So maybe the voices will stop screaming. Okay. And Cheddar, I was just looking on your Instagram page. I'm going to use your database to help out with that. If either you or Hayden could help walk me through that process.
Definitely. Absolutely, man.
Yeah. I want to get more I want to get more trade bait, which is to say books that I would like to keep, but also that give me an excuse to do trading with people. I love getting to trade with people, and nobody cares about a duplicate of a $1 Captain America book from 1990. So you actually have to have good stuff in order to trade. So that kind of stuff, but mostly I I just want to keep talking to the people that I've met, meet new people, keep doing stuff like this. Like I'm having a great time, and I don't see a reason to change anything.
Okay, since you're piping in here, Cheddar, 2025, can't get rid of you now. I can't quit you.
You won't be able to escape me. I'm going to be everywhere. No, 20. Lettuce, have you been to Heroes Con before? Or is this
I
your
went
first time?
last year for the first time.
And you loved it, I'm sure?
It was great.
That's all I ever hear. Everybody loves it.
Yeah, it was big enough to where there were a ton of like vendors and artists there. And also I didn't feel like I was being packed into a sardine tin.
And a lot of great, it's like every creator you could want is there, right?
Every single one.
Yeah, it's just crazy. I'm jealous. Maybe you can put me in your suitcase.
Go for
it.
We may have to talk a little bit, Chris.
Yeah, I want to. I think it's either Heroes Con or Terrificon's like on my wedding anniversary. So I was like, I don't think I can make it. Hey, what do you want to do for your anniversary? Do you want to go to Heroes Con? Well, I'm thinking. Well, for collecting, I'm a boy of two worlds. I don't really know which direction to go. So I kind of have like, there's like a redemption path I could go down for my PC, and I try to go after books that I once had and had to sell and get them back. You know, the book that started all for me was Showcase 22, which is the first Hal Jordan Green Lantern. And I had to sell that when I was 18. So I've kind of been thinking about that, or I've been thinking about a crazier path, which is going after, and just since I did Hulk 181 this year, just going for the big dog and going after an X-Men 1 next year. And I don't know how to do that. I don't know how that's going to happen, but I'm thinking about that more so.
Okay. And finally, Hayden.
Yes. So, funny enough, I actually got my next year goals from a comment. Someone commented on one of my YouTube posts, which was actually really interesting. It was like 3 paragraphs long, but basically they were giving what they do each year, and what they do is they do 5 books from each era, and that's what they limit themselves to.
Okay.
So I thought that would be a really neat way to kind of go about it. Whereas I took out the Golden Age because I have 1 Golden Age book in my collection, and I think that's going to be enough, because getting 5 of them, I mean, that would be the entire year's budget.
Yeah, that's tough.
So I sacrificed those and kind of made it to where it was like 6 of each, kind of, sort of. So
that's cool. That's fun.
Yep, and one of which I kind of made it a couple weeks ago, and then this was on it. So I already got one off next year.
He's got a head start.
Nice.
Yep. So I have that. I have it built out on Comic Geeks. I don't know if you guys use that. That's what I use to log all my comic stuff. Comic Geeks. It also does like the new Comic Book Day stuff. Has kind of everything on there. So I kind of like made like a community list, and it kind of shows you can what ones that. Yeah, that's a cool way to track it. So I kind of have a fluid list up there right now of everything that I'm looking for. Which, if it starts to get halfway through the year, I'm like, maybe this Bronze Age book I don't want. I'd rather get this, Silver Age book instead. I'll switch it out. But I'm kind of limiting myself to, I think it's around 20 to 25 books on there.
Wow.
So
it's always good to have a direction, right? To give you, so you're not kind of floundering. That's what I found I did this year is I did come up with a list, but I think I got big eyes when I made my list, because I didn't complete my whole list.
That's exactly what I did.
I don't know if I made it a little unrealistic or too, I think what I need to do is make stuff that's a little more attainable, but still fun to go after and chase. Maybe only have 2, maybe 3 big books on there, but then make the rest fun ones that are like, oh yeah, I like this book, or something that's, maybe nostalgic for some reason. Maybe it's a book that my dad gave me and I don't have anymore, or a book I remember as a kid that I would like to have again. So stuff like that. And I do want to get to some more cons this year and travel and stuff like that. Heroes Con is one that's on my list. Terrificon, I think, might be outside just based on price. And then because I got to think about traveling too, being in the Chicago area, and I'm not a big fan of flying, so I kind of try to go to places that I can drive to. Yeah, it probably takes me longer, but like I said, I'm like, Mr. T in the A Team where he's trying to get him to fly, and you got to give me a little Mickey or something to relax me, otherwise, I'll go nuts. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. Just that, and I'd like to try different stuff with the channel. It's been a year since I've really been, pumping on all cylinders, and I'd like to try some different stuff with different shows. Or, this is fairly recent. I've been only doing this for a couple months, but it's a lot of fun. It gives me a chance to show off stuff, talk to different people in the community, and that's something I also want to try to do, is connect with more people in the community, because I think I spent almost the whole year, the first year, not really, connecting with people, just doing my thing, and then realizing, oh, there's a lot of like-minded people that I probably should be interacting more with, because I'm probably driving, my wife crazy talking to her about all these, superheroes, and there's only so much that they can take, and she starts making up names just to make me go away, like she calls, the human furnace, to make me go away. So
That's a good one.
So that's kind of what I got on the list. But well, before we get out of here, I also want to give you guys the opportunity to plug your channels, what you guys got coming up. What's coming up with Lettuce Comics? I actually made some little ticker tapes that I've been trying to show off, but I keep forgetting to show them. So what do you got coming up, Hagen? Anything special, new?
It's only me. I'm planning on the next video that I want to make is I think that the word stupid gets a bad rap, because I am a stupid comic book collector, and I'm stupid in many ways, and I want to explain the ways in which I am stupid. And so that I think would be like a fun video to make. There's a small con. I'm talking like $5 entry fee.
I love those kind though.
Yeah,
that's the best ones.
I'm planning on going to that. I think that's on like January 18th, and I'm going to go there with like $30 and just see what happens. I've done a couple live streams on my channel so far, just getting to talk to people that I want to talk to. I want to do that a little bit more. I'm flying by the seat of my pants with this whole thing. I've got no idea what's coming up, like, for sure, but it's worked out well for me thus far. Why fix when I broke?
Yeah, just have fun, right? It's about having fun. Otherwise, why do it?
Yeah, but find me on YouTube and Instagram and OnlyFans and Chatterbait and all of that stuff. So I'll see y'all out there.
Oh,
speaking of OnlyFans, Chris, that's what you need to expand the business, right?
Oh, wow.
The Tetherverse. That was insane.
Yeah, wow. I can't think. I can't focus. Let me write something down real quick. Plugs. Sub on YouTube. I was doing 2 live sales a week, and I cut one of them, so now I'm down to 1. But when I did 2, it kind of showed me that I could be working a lot better and more efficiently and harder, better, faster, stronger. So now I'm doing, I'm trying to do in 2025 like 1 YouTube video a week, which for me sometimes is hard because they're very like research based if I do a history one. So I'm just trying to do more videos and put some more stuff out there because I love comic history, and I feel like a lot of comic history is really not being told. I might be the only one interested in it, but I just feel like somebody needs
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I just talking to other people in the community, a lot of times you learn stuff from other people that do know this history, like some of the veterans that had been collecting for years and years and years.
Totally. I just had that. I don't know if you saw. I just had this Spawn box I bought in a collection, and my friend A Hera, who's in my live sales a lot, he was like, "Hey, I know that," because I just posted it because I was like, "Oh, is this box cool?" And then he was like, "I remember that on the Home Shopping Network," and then he sent me the link, and then I was like, this is a video. Here we go.
Mhm.
And now, picked up some followers from that. So you don't know. Everybody's got kind of like little nuggets of info hiding in them. So
Yeah.
I'm just committing myself to telling more about comic history and trying to expand and be better at making more videos next year.
Making the Cheddar Comics brand grow
a little bit. Trying to get some more out there. So
all right. And then what's next gen got coming up?
Well, I've been getting over a week and a half, almost 2 week illness, so I haven't been doing like anything.
Oh no.
Yeah. So the channel has been kind of a little slow because I didn't want to try to make a video coughing up a lung, and just kind of like faint like that the entire time. So, but I am running a giveaway over on my Instagram, so you can go check that out. Next Gen Collector. Oh, look at that right down there.
Right there.
Go check that
Right
out.
there.
All you gotta do is like and comment your favorite story you read this year, and boom, you're in to win issue 1 and 2 of Absolute Wonder Woman. Because I was a dum-dum and accidentally bought those issues on accident. Long story how that happened. But yeah, just kind of going with the flow just right now, but more in 2025 for sure.
Okay. Very good. Let me, before we get out of here, just hit up the chat because I saw a bunch of people chatting here. Stevie saying there's so much to learn out there for the history. Oh, look at that. Our favorite super fans here. Richard. Hey, Richard. You're going to have to go rewind, Richard. And then let's see. Yeah, he had to work. Sorry you had to work, Richard. What else have we got? Oh, and this is awesome. Yes. Funko Pop Aisle. Subscribe to all the channels. Awesome show, guys. Yes, go to the show notes, you guys. I have links in the show notes for everybody here that you guys can go to. Click them, give them a like, follow, all that kind of stuff. Enjoy all the fun stuff that everybody that was here tonight puts out. And then also, lastly, Pam is here. History works both ways. I don't know jack about moderns. Had to Google what a virgin variant was recently. So, yeah, I mean, that's the nice thing about this hobby is that we're always learning something, and it's a very open book when it comes to the community. Everybody's willing to share. There's no gatekeepers. I've been in hobbies where there's gatekeepers, and I hate that. So
yeah, if you meet somebody like that, stop talking to them. They're not worth your time. 100%. There are so many really awesome, nice, generous, knowledgeable people out there that you don't have to beat your head against a brick wall.
Yep. Thank you, Big Nasty, for the shout out there. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. But we are going to go ahead and get out of here. So you guys hold on before you take off. I'm going to go ahead and close this out. Thanks you guys for joining us on the Sunday show off show. I'm going to plug my stuff a little bit here, but go ahead, smash that button, like, subscribe, comment. It says Christmas cover, but favorite cover. I forgot to change that one. And check me also out on Instagram. Check out my post there and drop me a line at SideQuest Comics, mail, Gmail. And yeah, that is all we got for you guys tonight. Okay, they changed all my stuff, so I can't find my buttons. There's my buttons, guys. We will see you next year at SideQuest Comics, and have a good one, guys.